Hello everyone, welcome to the LARP Tales podcast. My name is Oliver, I am one half of your hosting duo. With me, as always, is my co-host, Robyn. Hey Robyn.
Hi Oliver.
Today we're going to be talking about what there is to do at Empire Larp Event 4 of 2024. Lots of fours there. So we didn't do one for E3, but people seem to like the ones we did for E1 and E2. We're just going to go through some of the things that the player base have put on. We're not going to be going over the like the PD run stuff, so just to give some people maybe come for the first time, or if you've been before and you're wondering what's going on in all the different nations, just a general kind of overview, then this is the episode for you. Before we get into it though, let's do all the usual housekeeping. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and click subscribe if you are new to the Two Having to Roll channel, so you know when new episodes and videos are posted. If you are listening on an audio platform such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, then leave us a 5-star review. That helps people find the content. If this is your first time Empire LARP and you haven't got a ticket yet, you can get a £15 off of your first ever ticket by using our referral code. I will put it down in the show notes and the description of the YouTube channel as well. That also gives us a little kickback. It's a good way to support us. There are other ways of supporting us as well down in the description and down in the show notes as well, including Patreon and all that stuff. Anyway, let's get into our what is to do at Empire LARP E4. Okay, let's talk about what there is to do at Empire LARP. This is E4. Before I did the intro, I talked about our referral codes. If you want to use it, that's great. You can also use it if you want to come next year as well. It is appreciated. It does make a difference. Using that referral code, it does help us out and does keep our enthusiasm for doing these videos on Empire as well. I will say before we begin as well, we're going to go through all the nations, and this again is only going to be a brief kind of overview of some of the things that the player base is doing. Empire is a very large scale game, and most of the things that are going on there are run by the players. So we're not going to go over the things run by PD, i.e. God, the Friday night new player skirmishes, or the synod. We're not hub. We're not going to go over any of that. We're going to go over the what's happening in each nation. We did basically reach out to the community and say, hey, like we've done for all of these, and say what's happening, because we know kind of what's happening in Dawn, which is our nation, but we had to be like, oh hey, by the way, what is going on, and then we're just going to collate it in this one video for you. I will say as well, if you go and check out our one of these that we did for E1, we did a load of roleplay prompts for each of the nations. So for example, I said, oh yeah, if you come to Dawn and you're not in Dawn, this is what the Dawnish people are like, this is what they like to talk about, this is the main tension in the campaign for this nation. So that's all still pretty much relevant if you want to go back and watch that E1, even if you didn't go to E1, but you're coming to this one for the first time. So that gives you a few little prompts, because I won't be going over it again in this one. And with all that talking, Robyn, please tell us what's happening at E4.
Okay, so at E4 now, I've got a selection of events, festivals, activities that are happening in most of the nations. And the ones that have been sent through, I am going to go through what I've been told about them so far, OC, but for all of these events, if you want to find out more about them, the best thing to do is to go ask people I see about them in that nation at E4, because that gives us a really good starting point for being able to, slip in there and meet some people. And like we always say, everybody at LARP, their favorite thing to talk about is LARP and is what's going on. So let's start then with the Brass Coast. So with Brass Coast, I've got a couple of things here happening. They're having they're not, I think it's the Festival of the Broken Wheel, or Broken Wheel Festival. I've just got
Yeah,
Broken Wheel.
the Broken Wheel, yeah.
where basically freeborn are going to be flipping the virtues on their heads. So be on the lookout for silly pranks, bad lies, and freeborn doing the opposite of their traditions. Now, it's any freeborn wearing white. That's what you got to look out for. So maybe don't believe everything they tell you this event if they are wearing white. So, as well as lots of freeborn shenanigans, at 8 p.m. on Saturday, they are having the Broken Bonds tourney, which is a 4v4 tournament, and it is all part of this as well. So, head over to the Brass Coast at 8 p.m. on Saturday to the bazaar, and then you can watch the tourney and ask people a little bit more about the Broken Wheel.
So that's 8 p.m., Robyn, right?
8 p.m. I'm
You
sorry.
said 4
Honestly,
8
I read
p.m.
that several times there. Just head to the Brass Coast on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing sounds very heretical to me, but what do I know? We're going to do the opposite of the virtues. Oh, yeah, no, that sounds. I quite like the whole dressing in white type thing. Awesome.
Yeah, because it kind of like points them out a little bit for you as well. Um, Also in the Brass Coast at 6 p.m. on Saturday. And there's going to be live music at the Star Bar. So they're having songs, stories, drag, food, and drinks. So head over to the Star Bar in the Brass Coast at 6 p.m. on the Saturday, and then you can have some entertainment.
Fantastic. Do you want to are we doing like a nation each, or are you just going to fire through these?
Oh, we could do a nation each if you want.
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna look over here on my other screen, because I've got so much going on all my screens. So next up we have the best nation in the Empire. We have Dawn. The big thing that's going on in Dawn this time is the Grand Fair, which is going to be a culmination of a load of downtime activities. My brain's not working when it comes to descriptive words. Whatever it's called. When you send your military unit to go off do something, you can there's a drop down menu and you select to go on adventures or support armies or whatever. So you had the option the past year to go do a grand tour, which was basically you and your military unit going off and competing in tournaments. It was basically a big celebration after the liberation of the barons. So we had a Winds of Fortune come out saying that there's going to be a tourney to basically cap off this storyline. It is going to be at 2:30 p.m. in Dawn in the Glory Square, I think.
Yep, in the Glory Square, yeah. So everything's happening in the Glory Square with that. So yeah, like I said, there's a big tourney. It's going to have got a list of champions that are going to be in there, and there's also going to be the fair as well. Which, when they posted it out and everything, so they were looking at going into some parts of the Dawnish Brief that haven't really been explored much before, and this fair being one of them. So I'm not too sure what to expect, actually. I think it's going to be lots of like stalls and stands and things there and stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Also, in Dawn we have the Love Symposium. The theme this time is the dangers of love. Do you have any more information on that? Because I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. So I Love Symposium has been on a few times now, and this time, yeah, like you said, with the theme being dangers of love, basically you head over to the Glory Square at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and they're encouraging people to, bring snacks, bring chairs, pillows, whatever you want to come and discuss and to hear about the dangers of love. It's basically exploring the theme of love, because it's something we talk about a lot in Dawn. And it's just sort of exploring that theme a little bit more. All nations are welcome as well. And I think they have done some collaborations with other nations in the past as well.
Okay. So also in Dawn, the Magpies have something going on. If you want to get involved in the artifact and lore game, Magpies are setting starter quests for history aficionados each season, trying to get new people talking to more established characters and exploring the field with purpose. We're a sodality, so we welcome players from every nation. This is all just, by the way, I am just reading this because this is just copy and pasted from what people have sent us. What's going on? So the Magpies are giving out starter quests at 4 p.m. on Saturday in the Glory Square in Dawn. That I know I've never actually spoken to the Magpies, but any player group that tries to get new players into the game and sets them tasks, because that's one thing that like Empire players, especially new players, desperately want. It is a big, I don't know if it's an issue in the game, because when we get to the end of this, I want to talk about PvP a little bit as well, because a lot of people come to Empire not really knowing what the base game is about. To get things like quests and things like that, you have to rely on player run stuff. You're not going to get quests and personal plot from PD, basically. It's just not going to happen. So that's Dawn.
Moving on to Highguard. So I had a wonderful player from Highguard message me and tell me all about the massage guide, the massage guild. And the massage guild, they've been running for a while now, and this time what they're going to do is they're actually going to meet at the Shattered Tower camp, which is in Highguard, and they're going to be meeting there Saturday at 3 p.m. Now they're welcoming everyone who is interested in massage. Maybe you do massage and you want to do that as part of your character. Maybe you're trying to find somebody who does massage in your nation, and you can come and have connections and so on there. So come ask questions and really explore that part of the game as well. So this time at E4, massage can be found in the marches, a lot of places in the league, the Imperial Orcs, a lot of places in the Brass Coast, Urizen, and Wintermark. So if you're looking for someone in particular, go ask them at the massage guild.
Struggle with the word guild, huh?
Yes, it's only if I read it. If I read
Yeah.
it, that looks like guide to me. That's all I'm seeing. So I need to look away from it to read it.
Guild. Yeah.
Excellent. On to the Imperial Orcs next.
Imperial Orcs. So the Imperial Orcs have. I love how you've put this. Robyn's put this all in a nice spreadsheet, and it says Imperial Orcs, and it says event or activity Rumble.
I went for Rumble.
Rumble. So the Imperial Orcs have a big Rumble going on. This is a range of exhibition fights, including 2 egregores going head to head. So yeah, this will be. I think this will be something that a new player would. Because going to the Orc camp is an experience as well for new players, because I think their set dressing is probably the best in all the nations, in my humble opinion. So they're going to have a Royal Rumble style fight as well, all culminating in the fight for the title and the belt. So yeah, if you like a bit of pro wrestling style role play, you're going to find plenty of that there. And then the role play in the Orcs is also always fun.
No, yeah, it is.
So that is happening on Saturday at 5 p.m. So don't miss the Rumble.
No, I'm definitely going to go to that one because it does sound amazing. I am definitely looking forward to seeing the 2 egregores go head to head, because I think that's going to be terrifying. So on to the league. Both of my activities here both revolve the Hens Theatre, actually. So we've got IC acting, and it simply says, if you have an interest in trying out some IC acting, then some of us will be meeting to discuss a shiny new acting competition at the Hens Theatre in the league. So this is going to be Saturday at 3 p.m. So if you've maybe seen one of the amazing plays that gets put on, especially ones in the league, are just fantastic. If you've seen a play, if you've thought, oh, I kind of want to get into that part of the game, then go meet them at 3 p.m. on the Saturday, and then they'll be able to go through a few things with you. Also, at the Hen Theatre in the League, they shall be having plays, musicians, they've got a bar, they've got jobs on offer for those of you trying to earn some more coin. They have a mini market on the Saturday afternoon, all prosperity, all indoors. So this is going to be Friday/Saturday evenings from 6 p.m. Head to there if you want to see a fun show.
So next up we have the marches. This is the Autumn Summit. So it is their time for Wassail. I can't actually. I think Wassail usually runs. I don't think we've got a time for this because I can't remember what the time is. But it is usually on the Saturday afternoon. I know it's usually definitely done in the daylight. So this is the marches, like basically it's their harvest festival, if you like. So they
Yeah.
go, but they go basically they go around all the nations and make a ton of noise. That they'll be celebrating this in their own camp anyway. So but you don't even need to go to the marcher camp because they will be coming around all the nations. Basically, the idea is they're letting the empire know how important they are because they grow all our food.
Yeah.
And they're very loud about it. But they're usually in extremely good spirits, and they are usually sharing out. They usually share out a lot of food. There's lots. Is basically they bring food around. There's sometimes like things like tug of war and things like that. They bring around and have a good time basically,
Yeah.
in all the different nations. I know when they come to Dawn, they tend to get the tug of war rope out and have fun with that. So that they'll be. Thing is, the marches usually every event have like lots of food stalls and things like that going up there. But this time that it'll be a big celebration if you fancy going up to the march, especially if you're in somewhere like Wintermark and you're a new player. It's a long walk up to the marches, but this is just to let you know if you go head up to the marches, there will be good food, good drink up there, and a good time. Um, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One of the favorite photos was from Marcel last year. And it was so E4 last year was our first event with Nymeria and Damon. And there's a photo of like Nymeria standing there, like looking down upon all these marchers that are just having a good fun time, and the contrast is just so fun to watch. That sort of typical like Dawnish noble, and then all these marchers just sharing apples and running around and just having fun. So next we have Navar. So in Navar, we've got somebody that's actually running dance classes in Navar. Now, they have said, I am running a Navar exclusive dance class. It gives Navari an opportunity to build and grow the performing culture that's so important to us by actively creating new national dances. A perfect way to literally embody the great dance. Good for newbies to break the ice and have a bit of fun. So that's going to be Saturday in Navar at 4 p.m. And it is Navar exclusive, but like they've said, if you're new to Navar and you're trying to learn a little bit more about your brief or learn a bit more about where you fit into your nation, head along there and learn some really cool dance moves.
Yeah, so like the great dance is it's a cultural thing in the Navari brief. There is also songs and stories as well. It's always worth a mention. So that runs on the Friday and the Saturday night until midnight. So they have a big circle, and it's the only real place in Empire where you go to perform and see performances with a sort of a quiet and concentrated crowd that is literally obliged to kind of watch and be quiet. And so again, go and watch our one we did at E4 covering all this, because I go on about all the roleplay prompts and I mention songs and stories in that as well. And we both talk about the different cultural roleplay prompts on these different nations. If you're not too au fait with those nations and you're in another nation you want to go explore, I'll put the link for that in the description as well for everyone. Moving on from Navar on to Urzen. We don't really have much for Urzen here. We have a big blank space for Urzen.
Yeah, sorry, it's a copy and paste from last time. That's why. So no, there's nothing on. I've not got anything from Urizen, and so you're jumping straight onto Verushka.
Fantastic. I mean, there must be something going on at Horizon, right?
Okay, there 100% is things going on in Nursing. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything on the post that I put out. I did do a bit of digging. I do believe that they have a festival on this Timely
Yeah.
Remembrance Festival that is happening.
Yeah.
So my main thing I would say is if you want to know a little bit more about that, head over to Urzen, ask around, and I'm sure people there will be more than happy to tell you all about everything that is actually happening there.
Yeah, I mean, when we do these things, that like, and we ask people like, "Oh, yeah, what's going on in your nation?" Urizen and the Imperial Orcs are always difficult to get things out of, literally just because there's fewer players, you know. So if your entire nation is like less, way less than like 100 people, then it's difficult for people to be like see the posts and things like that. Whereas when you
Oh
say
yeah.
what's happening in Dawn, and like Dawn just give you too much stuff, basically. You know, like, we're doing all of the stuff, you know, and other nations
Filtering
are,
through it all.
yeah, other nations are like, we still don't have anything for Highguard or Urizen or the Imperial Orcs. Moving on to Verushka, we have the Shadow Market. Now, the Shadow, has it always been called the Shadow Market?
No, I always thought it was called the night market.
Yeah, but they
And
have two,
then
don't they? But I always thought it was like the night market and something else.
oh, I don't know
Yeah,
actually.
they have two.
Because yeah, because I was told that they've got because I thought the night market was the market that happens at E4. And then people were telling me, oh, it's the shadow market. And I was like, okay, cool. But I don't know if it's the same thing or not, actually. But it is a market
Regardless, there's a
at
market.
night after sundown
Either
on
way,
Saturday.
on Saturday when the sun goes down, go to Verushka. You will find a market. And the best thing to do, because it's a role playing game, go and ask people, what is this? What is this market? What is it celebrating? What is it? Ask questions, and people will want to tell you about it. Trust me. So that's, I mean, this is the market that we've never been to it. This will be our third E4, by the way.
Yeah.
And we've never been to it. And your dad went to, on his first LARP, went to the night market, or the shadow market, whatever market it's called. And I'm sure someone will correct us in the comments. And had an absolute blast, because I know a lot of our group always love going to it as well. We've just never been, so we're gonna try and see if we can get to it this time.
Yeah, I honestly this time I already have like a plan as to as to what I actually want to do on the Saturday, and the Saturday night I definitely do want to go to this because it just sounds cool. It sounds spooky. I like spooky things.
Yeah, yeah. Add it to the list. Actually, maybe I'll put this as a list in the description as well. I won't put all the description, but I'll put all the things to do, so you can like add it to like a tick list of things that you might want to go do if you feel a loose end during the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Verushka. What's happening
Yeah,
in
so
Wintermark, Robyn?
now on to Wintermark. So Wintermark, first of all, we have the bear pit, which like sounds cool straight away. So this is a fighting tournament with a throne plus lots of goodies up for grabs as a prize for the overall winner. And a few new extras for E4. They have experienced veterans and brand new players. So absolutely everyone is welcome to this, even if you just want to go along and watch. So that is the bear pit, and that is going to be on the Saturday at 5 p.m. So it's like Saturday at 5 p.m. Everybody's just getting into a big fight everywhere. So I mean, I think no matter where you go, you're going to get to see a fight of Saturday at 5 p.m. And we also have in Wintermark, so this is the Imperial Art Society, and they're doing life drawing in the Willows camp in Wintermark. So the life drawing, this is actually going to be Saturday at 10:30 a.m. So this is during the big battle. So if you're not going to do the battle and you're looking for something to go do and have a bit of fun doing while that's happening, head over to Wintermark, head over to the Willows camp, and you can be involved in some life drawing. So the last one, this is for everyone, okay? And this is one of our Dawnish enchantresses who is going around all the nations. I'm going to say this name.
Yeah,
And I'm going
everyone
to say it
struggles with it.
perfectly.
I'm sorry to the player of this character, but I think everyone struggles with it a bit, so don't feel too bad, Rob.
Okay, so this is going to be Arlo Larma leaves. I know that's wrong.
I mean,
I'm
it's
so
funny. It's not as if
sorry.
it's like a brass coast name that I can't anywhere near pronounce. So
I know that was wrong. Do you know what we need? You know, like when you're going to Google, you'll go, how do I pronounce this? I think that what the player needs to do in that is have a little voice recording of saying it just so that we can like click that button each time to remind ourselves how to do it.
you know what? PD used to
I
actually
think you do it
have.
on purpose.
Yeah, PD used to actually have a pronunciation guide, and they got rid of it. Um, I'm not entirely sure why they got rid of it. My speculation is that maybe it's like, oh yeah, only the players can really have the authority on how something's pronounced technically in their world. I don't know, but
Maybe,
yeah, I
yeah.
remember I actually found it useful when they did have it up there, and then it disappeared. So.
Yeah, like I always say Jotun, but I think it's Jotun. But I've heard people say Jotun as well.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
Jotun,
well,
Jotun.
I mean, words like that, Jotun, it's like obviously that's taken from like Norse mythology, so like
Mm.
there's lots of ways to say that word anyway, as long as you like say one of those ways, I guess, people will know what you're talking about, but it's things like well, it's the Brockeliand Broceliand kind of thing. It's like
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
it should be Brockeliand, but there are literal Navari that call it Broceliand. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, the Enchantress has said, so this is actually split between E4 and E1. So the Enchantress has said, want to cast cool and impressive rituals? Then I'm here to help. Starting at E1, I'll be going on a pilgrimage to each nation and casting territory enchantments, starting in Wintermark. Plan is to get things set up at E4, going to every nation. So, if you want to learn a little bit more about these big rituals and casting things over full territories, then find our enchantress there. She is in Dawn, but will be going from nation to nation. So that is I'm not saying it again. So that you can't miss her camp setup. It's got a big awning and it's all purple and gold themed. You'll find her,
Purple and
okay?
gold with a phoenix, I believe, right? Yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
In fact, actually, do you know what? What I've got right here is I've got our poster here. So it's the Phoenix Flame, and it is actually marked out on the map. There is a player doing this really nice IC map of everyone's nation. And what they're also doing is adding where each thing is in the nation. And the Phoenix Flame is actually signposted on that. So head there if you want to find out a little bit more.
Cool.
And yeah,
Yeah.
that's all our main events and things that come through that players and things are
Mm.
organizing. Obviously, there's all the things that PD puts on. Like Oliver said at the start, we chatted about that in our E1 video. But if you want to know anything more about that sort of stuff, just nip over to God Games Operation Desk, and they have lots of things signposted there for you.
Yeah, if you actually, so yeah, we again go back to that E1. We give a lot of role play prompts for the all the different nations. If you want to know about what PD puts on, so the main like establishments, if you like, in the game, actually go check out our video. Not PD's. Go check out our video we did it a couple of years ago for the basic game information, like what to do when you arrive, what you need to bring before you come. We go over kit, we go over combat, we go over religion, we go over magic. I'm still quite proud of that video. Actually, the video is a couple of years old, and everything in there is pretty much still relevant. I actually watched it for the first time in a year like the other day, and yeah, everything in there's still pretty solid. I think the only thing we didn't
Yeah.
really mention was like healing and things like that, but then there was a couple of other things we didn't mention, like newspapers and publications and art and music and things like that. But go check that out if you just for a primer on what to expect when to come. I do, before we sign off, want to talk about, if this is your first time, maybe give some advice to new players from a role play perspective. Empire's in a interesting. Well, I think it has been an interesting spot for a while, and I'm only just kind of seeing it now, coming to the end of my third year. So a lot of people come to Empire definitely for the fest fantasy vibe, and you will
Yeah.
100% get that at Empire. That type of thing, though, is the space and the world and the setting is provided by PD, but a lot of the game you're going to get is from the players. Like, the taverns you visit, or like I said, we talk about quests. If you want to go literally get a quest, you very rarely are you going to get that from PD. This is going to be my 12th Empire event. Apart from Skirmish Crew, I think I have interacted with 2 NPCs my entire time there. And I don't think I'm in the minority. So it is a very player-run game. Don't come expecting PD to tailor write a story for you. Even when they do, sometimes they get busy and they forget about your personal plot. So we've had a few people say that they've gone through these like plots. They've managed to get into the plot line, and because it's such a long drawn out game, people forget what's going on. So if you want to get into the types of games that are to do with the main establishments in Empire, so the Senate, if you want to do political stuff, military council, if you want to do military style stuff, the Bourse if you want to do trading stuff, Conclave for magical stuff, and a Synod for religious stuff. So this is all I'm saying. They're all political kind of things. You have to engage in the game's PvP, player versus player. So the only PvP in Empire, you can fight each other. You can actually, but it's not common that you'll have fights in camp. You're mainly going to be doing that PvE, so against the barbarians and that through the Sentinel Gate. But the main PvP in Empire is a political player versus player and political conflict. The game has been built around that. If you go onto PD's website, you will find the rules for PvP and how to engage in PvP. This is something that gets lost a little bit. It is on the PD website. It is there under the conduct, how to engage in PvP, and what to expect from your fellow players as well. So it's worth going on there to read. For example, there's one in a big box, and it tells you what's expected from PvP. It does say in that, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going to paraphrase, but it does say you can do anything up and to including killing your opponent, basically, to get a position that you want. Another important part of that, again, I'm paraphrasing, but it is there. You must not engage in political PvP or any PvP with someone you have an out of character problem with. So keep that in mind. That part of the game, which is a big part of the game, which was basically the foundation of what the game was originally built on when Empire started. The idea was that all the players came in. They started off with the death of Empress Britta, and Empress Britta had gone out with all the senators and generals and all the important people in the Empire, and they all died. And so all the positions needed to be filled. So that was what the game was based on, that, and those 5 establishments. The game has been like built around that. But the thing is, the game has got so big beyond that, that people very much focus on that PvP game, but a lot of people don't actually engage in it, which is completely fine. I think people want to come for the good time, but it is if you're going to be like, right, okay, I think we should have these, that group over there have this imperial position, we want it, then you are then engaging in PvP. And I would, if you're going to do that, I would make sure that you go and read the rules on PvP, because sometimes people stumble into this game and then they don't realize that they're like, oh, everyone's like viciously going for these positions. That's the point. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up before this one, because it's something that people come into the game, they maybe expect one thing, they maybe expect a Ren fair where we all get to dress up like fairies and take TikTok videos, and they go, well, actually the game isn't really supposed to be that, but you can come, have a good time, dress up, and just drink and have fun with your friends. But then if you do want to go into other parts of the game, you are you are then in PvP. Which you can completely ignore and just go out into the battlefield and then you can do the PvE stuff. So I thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're totally right to mention that, because there's a lot of PvP in this game, and I do think one of the rules that a lot of people maybe are not aware of is the one that you mentioned, is the fact that you really should not, like, it is not permitted to enter PvP with someone that you have an out of character issue with. For obvious reasons, I think. But yeah, that it can cause a lot. Remember, it's a game. There are real people behind all of these characters that you're having all this PvP with. And for most of us, some of us, we go to the event and then go away and forget about it. For some people, they can dwell on things for a very long time after an event. So make sure we're looking after each other. We're all just people wanting to play pretend in the field for a while.
Yeah, well said. Excellent. Right, well, we are I mean, E4 is at time recording next week, so we're going to try and get a episode recorded on a LARP that we've recently come back from. We went to an Eldritch horror, basically a Call of Cthulhu style LARP at Eversley, run by a friend of ours, along with the Feast Your Eyes crew at Eversley. We had an amazing time. So yeah, make sure you're subbed and following for that episode. We're obviously going to come back and do our recap of E4 when it's over as well. Yeah, make sure that you are subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on audio, make sure that you are following us, and also give us a 5-star review so more people can find our content. If you want to support us by using our referral code, it is down in the description or in the show notes to get £15 off your first Empire ticket, especially if you come to E4, because the late booking fee is now the early booking fee has now passed, so it's a little bit more expensive, but £15 off could make a difference, and it also makes a big difference to us as well. There's also a Patreon down there if you want to help us in that way as well. And with that, yeah, I think we'll say goodbye. We love you very much. Stay safe. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.